Hey, Matt Ninjas, what's up? I'm recording this on November 20th, but I'm going to say welcome back because it's actually November 30th when you're going to see this. It should be. All right. So we're moving on. This is some good stuff. Graphing linear equations. When you graph a linear equation, it will always be a straight line. This is kind of your standard linear equation form. It's what you want to work with when you have a linear equation, and that is y is equal to x, and then like plus or minus whatever. So in this one, you have y is equal to x plus 1. The other thing you'll commonly see with this is a multiplier in front of the x. So it could be y is equal to 5x plus 1 minus 5, whatever, right? But here's the one we're working with. And so when we're doing this, the first thing you'll do, you get your equation looking like this, and then you're going to create a table to find your coordinate pairs. And so what we have here is a table, and then I've determined some values for x I want to find. So if x is a -1, if x is a 0, if x is 2. And then what you're going to do, you're going to take your equation and say y is equal to, if x is a -1, and then plus 1. You're going to do this equation right here. And then say we see this, right? So y is equal to a -1 plus 1. So y is going to be 0 there. We see that. And then we're going to do that again. So here you've got y is equal to x is 0 plus 1. So y is equal to 1. Nothing too tricky here, right? And then y, if x is 2, y is equal to 2 plus 1. That's the other equation we got. So in this case, y is equal to 3. Okay? So that's our deal. We've got this table that we've created using the equations. And now we're going to take it and just like write it as the coordinate pairs. Also nothing too tricky. Just make sure you put x first and then y. That's coordinate pair number 1. X first, 0 and 1. And then x first, so x is 2, y is 3. Now you've got your coordinate pairs. And you're going to make your own graphs right now in your journal. So be sure you set it up. You can go ahead and label the y-axis and the x-axis. Y has a vertical part to it going straight up and down. I don't know how you're going to remember it, but that's the y-axis. Okay, and now we're going to take our points and plot them on here. The other thing you need to do is determine what the values are, the spacing. So you could go by 2s, 2, 4, 6. I'm going to go 1s by 1, so 1, 2, 3. I know that downward on the y-axis is your negatives, -1, -2, -3. And to the left on the x-axis is -1, -2, -3. Okay, so you want to be really clear with how you are labeling that. So just setting up your graph is actually a big part of it, making sure that it's accurate. Okay, cool. So now I've got this line, this linear equation, y is equal to x plus 1. So what is that going to look like? We know it's going to be a straight line. If it doesn't turn out to a straight line, you did some math wrong. Okay, but I've got x is a -1, y is 0. -1, x, y is 0. I've got x is 0, y is 1. And then x is 2. And I could have done x is 5, x is 10. It doesn't have to be like exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, like consecutive. So x is 2, y is 3. And if you had graph paper, it would definitely look really pretty. Mine's spaced out pretty well. So I can create this line that goes through it. You put an arrow at the end of your line to show that it goes on forever. All right. That's graphing linear equation. So each one, you got multiple steps. Make sure your equation looks like y is equal to an x value plus a number if that's there. Create your table, xy coordinate pairs. Take the values of x, put it into the equation to find your values for y. Go ahead and write out the coordinate pairs. Create your graph with care and consideration, and then graph it. It should be a straight line. Let's look at a couple special scenarios. And here we're doing the graph of a horizontal line will only cross the y-axis, and the other special one, a vertical line. So actually really straightforward once it sort of clicks in your brain. But this is a graph. Y is equal to 3. You're like, cool, y is equal to 3. But it also represents a linear equation. That is going to be horizontal. This line only crosses the y-axis. That's why we're not seeing x as a part of this linear equation. And what it will look like, we don't even need to create a table for this one, because all it is saying is that this line crosses the y-axis at 3. So I got that point. I'm drawing a straight line. It's horizontal. And I'm going to go ahead and write the equation here. Y is equal to 3. Okay, so that's the deal. Like super simple, but be able to recognize it. Y is equal to 3. Crosses the y-axis at 3. Similarly, this vertical line only crosses the y-axis. X-axis, and that's why y is not seen in the equation. And this vertical line only crosses the x-axis at -1. So that's where our point goes. Boom. Crosses x at -1. Draw your straight line. Put the arrows because it goes on forever and ever infinity. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and label this as the equation x is equal to a -1. Okay. Easy enough, but make it click in your brain. Review it. Your turn. Here are your practice problems. So the first thing you're doing in your journal is create your own graph in your journal, right? Label your x-axis, label your y-axis, and then determine, are you going by 1, 2, 3, 4? Are you going by 2, 4, 6, 8? I've kept the numbers pretty small, so you don't need to make a crazy big graph with big numbers. So create your graph, create a table for each equation, and in this case, that's only going to be 1 and 4 because you got horizontal, vertical lines of 2 and 3. And for 1 and 4, show at least 3 coordinate pairs, meaning choose 3 values for x to put into your table and find those coordinates. All right, this is good stuff. This is important algebra stuff here. So you got it.